Hello folks, I hope that you're having just a great day today and keep yourself safe in our modern COVID world. Today, for today's Thursday, I want to take another look at we'll take a look at the second story in my Phillip K series that I'm dedicating to my next few Thursdays to here on this channel. Today we're going to be looking at We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, which is the short story that Total Recall was based off of. So we'll take a look at that here in a moment. I picked up this collection about 2.5-3 weeks ago. I'll link you to this collection in the link below so that you can follow along with me. It has a lot of key short stories by Phillip K. We Can Remember It For You Wholesale is the second short story I read in this collection because I enjoy the movie Total Recall a lot, and I enjoy a lot of the things that it had happen. I've already looked at I've already read 4 short stories that have inspired movies. Adjustment Team for Adjustment Bureau, Imposter for Imposter, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale for Total Recall, and Minority Report for Minority Report. And of those 4, this is the one that's the least like the film that it's based on. Total Recall goes into some incredibly different territories. Minority Report had some beats that they had in common, but was very different in its world setting, its characterization of its main character, its ending, and so forth. But it had a lot of beats in common, things that were happening, scenes that happened, and so forth. Adjustment Team, Adjustment Bureau has a lot of differences too, but again, it has some beats in common. Imposters is actually probably the closest. The Gary Sinise film from 2001. It's probably the closest of the 4, although again, it's not that close. But this one has very little in common with the short story. The short story is very different. It goes into some very different directions. Only the setup and the first couple of scenes in the movie are basically have a similar enough style in common. I would say some general world building tips and the basic core concept of what would happen if you went to Rekall to have your memories replaced and then found out that super secretly your memories had already been changed and that what you were intending to go there for Rekall for was what was actually happening. So what's happening in this story, we're going to open up. Our main character is going to be dreaming of Mars again. He really wants to go and visit Mars. He has a low-paying job. So he doesn't make enough money to go visit Mars. His wife keeps trying to keep him from going to Mars or talking about it and so forth. She believes it's a non-starter, and she tries to shut it down every time it happens. So what he decides to do without telling her, he decides to go to this company called Rekall, which is kind of this We Can Remember It For You Wholesale idea, where what they will do is they will install a 2-week memory of the vacation into your mind, with all the details that would be involved. So it would be like you actually went. You have your memories. And it will also give you some artifacts from where you went. Picture films, postcards, souvenirs, that sort of thing. That will be given to you, placed in your apartment, mailed to you from Mars, and that sort of thing. And then as a part of that thing, there's a plot line that you can go with. And your plot line is that you're a member of the International Human Security Force, and so forth, and you had a mission to Mars on behalf of the police, and a fun adventure happened while you're on Mars. So this is the general plot line of the thing that happens in Mars. However, early on in the short story, we'll realize that what's actually happening is that our main character has already been a spy, a member for this security agency as a police, and has already gone to Mars for a mission and has forgotten it because it was removed from his mind by the agency. So he remembers it before Rekall hits his mind, and so forth. And then from there on, the short story goes into some very different places than the movie does. Basically, the movie's first few scenes and these first few scenes have a lot in common, but then after this, they just go into some completely different characters. The second act and third act of the film are completely different. Basically, everything that happens from the scene in the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is taking the device out of his head that's being used to track him by the powers that be, so that he can escape from them. That scene is not in the novel or anything similar to it, and everything that happens after that, as a consequence of that scene, is also not in the short story as well. The short story has a very different sort of an idea or different context. Now, one thing that the movie does that the short story definitely does not do, the movie definitely has this idea of maybe what happened to our main character is just the recall memories, and we're just seeing those. Maybe they actually were installed there, and then just he escaped from recall, He realized that he was a spy just like he was going to. The woman that he meets is exactly like he says, athletic and so forth. He's a spy. He's on a mission to Mars. Maybe what happens in Total Recall after he arrives in Rekall in the company actually happened. And maybe what happened was just the fake memories. So it has that sort of a duality to it. But it's very clear in the short story, though, that that's not the case at all, right? He remembers these things in Rekall before he is implanted with these memories and so forth. Before that ever happens. So you will know right up front that that's actually there's no possibility that this has been a mistake, right? And so forth. So it's very different for that reason. But anyway, I really enjoy the short story. It's well crafted. It's well written. The world building's great. There's a lot of fun things that happen in it. The ending in it is actually really good too. Because the two stories go into such different directions, it's hard to compare the endings because, you know, Act 2, 3, and 4 were very different. So comparing Act 5 is going to be, you know, obviously by that time, they've gone into such different directions. They have such different endings, but they've had such different build-ups to those endings. It's hard to say one ending is better than the other. I think the movie's ending is better for the movie and how it built that world around it. And I think the short story's ending is better for the short story and how it built the world around it too. But there you go for you. There is We Can Remember It For Your Wholesale by Phillip K. Dick. What'd you think about it? Have you read it? Have you read any other short stories by Dick? What'd you think about them? Did you agree or disagree with anything in this video? Please feel free to let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit this subscribe button. There's going to be so many more of these classics to follow. And finally, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and watching my video. You know, we all have so many things happening in our lives. So the fact that you took this time and spent it with me is incredibly humbling. And I really do appreciate that. So thanks again and have a great day.